Aloha and welcome to the Enjoy Schtick Show, a weekly podcast where three friends from Hawaii talk story about the things from pop culture that bring us joy. Shakas mahalos for checking us out. If can, please like and subscribe on any and every podcast platform, including a YouTube. A 5-star review is greatly appreciated, even though I can't say the intro good. It helps us out a lot. I'm your co-host Drake, and that's Scott.
How's it?
And that's Thomas.
What up, everybody? Yeah, it's been a long weekend all around. I'm glad I didn't have to do that intro because I would 100% messed it up. So, yeah, well done, Drake. But for tonight, it's all about Deadpool and Wolverine because I ran out of San Diego Comic-Con trying to get to this movie because I did not want anything spoiled. And I think it was fully worth it, man. Oh, God. I love this movie. Spoiler alert. What'd you guys think about it? And what was your feeling kind of stepping outside of the theater? Drake.
I would say I give it like a 2 out of 2 because it was the fucking best thing I've ever seen all fucking day.
Okay.
All fucking day.
All fucking day.
Is that
I watched so many one thing that day.
Yeah, I saw one thing that day. I mean, got the tickets early, drove all the way down to the Springs just to enjoy it with some friends and things of such. I got to watch it with friends. Hopefully, Scott, we know that you didn't have friends to watch it with, but hopefully you guys watch it with some friends.
We'll get there.
And it was everything I wanted. I couldn't stop laughing during the show. It was great. Moving on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I went with family/friends, just to my friends, but they're my family too. Originally I was gonna go with Christine. She had a work conflict, so I asked Jazz, my sister. You guys have all seen her. I was like, "Do you want to go?" Like. And then she was like, "Do you have another ticket for Lewis?" And I jumped on. And there was a seat next to us. I'm like, "Yeah, I fucking got it."
Lucky fucker.
Yep.
Wow.
So then I got that, and the three of us went, and damn, that was a good time. There was I think what's cool about this movie is of course there was we know there's cameos, so there's like a plethora of people you can pull from, right?
Yeah.
And there were certain things I thought
that.
I was gonna see, I didn't, but I was happy with the ones I did see. So it was kind of nice and refreshing. I was like, oh, so we'll get into that for sure. But overall, we had a freaking blast. Some of them were like Lewis is unfamiliar, like not as familiar as like we were with some of the stuff. So he even had fun. So
isn't Lewis like a Welsh person or Scottish or something?
Yeah.
Doesn't Ryan Reynolds own his like favorite soccer team or something?
No, that's Welsh. That's a different country.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, wow.
He should have liked it.
And
Come on, Lewis.
Come on, Lewis.
Yeah.
Fucking.
No, but we all had a blast. We were all laughing, and then it was fun to like come out of the movie and like just talk about like, oh, what does this mean? And like, oh, this is a reference to that. And like, you know, it's so fun to be able to do that again and like come out super positive with it. So that was my overall feel.
That's sick. So for everybody listening, we will be talking full spoilers on this one. Because the movie's been out. If you didn't see it this weekend, sorry. So we're going
just
stop
spoilers. Listening and then go watch it and then come back and listen.
Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Then come back once you're done. But man, so this movie kicks off in such a amazing way, right? How are we gonna, pay homage to Logan? How are we also going to make it Deadpool? And it's very much like Deadpool 1, like it starts off with this crazy action sequence and then kind of rewinds. But the first action sequence is like so damn good. Yeah, Drake, take it away.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds, kind of having that exposition with Logan, I should say, and his corpse, and then essentially using all of his body, all of his bones to defeat the TVA trying to attack him, and he's using his like femur as nunchucks, and he's hitting guys in the nuts, and it's looking like he's stroking cocks, and he's putting on Wolverine's blades, and then fucking stabbing people in his butt and doing like human centipede stuff. It was like
stuck.
I know, dude, like God, I didn't think that
so hilarious
thing was gonna be like so funny, but it just was like no, and it was just like the most crude, terrible humor. But man, that got me. You mix it in with a bomb song too, with NSYNC, with Bye Bye Bye.
And he was dancing too. Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Oh my god. And yeah, the dance in between where it just turns into a music video, all these murdering fools is just like,
Oh man.
oh, I was like, man, we are in for a good time because this is how you set up this movie. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
No, I agree. It felt like right from the beginning, I was like, dude, I bet you this whole film, when making it or when like writing it, and like was a whole back and forth, like, can we do this? I don't know about that. All right, well, hear me out. And it's like, it feels like they really pushed it to the edge and was like, maybe even like pushed it beyond and got away with some stuff. Like, and I mean, of course, you saw in the trailer when they're talking about the cocaine, like, we can't do it, but we could talk about it, even though we're not supposed to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. We just can't show it. It's the rules. Like, it's the perfect, like, it's, you know, it's great that he's meta, so he can like fully like get you, like, it's, oh God, it's so funny.
There's some jokes where it was like Deadpool wouldn't know this, only Ryan Reynolds would know this. And like he's still like, it still works. You're like, I don't know, it just, because I guess Deadpool is Ryan Reynolds.
It's my brain doesn't know the difference. It's like, yeah, it makes sense, like they just are one person.
So it basically kind of rewinds, right? And we pick back up with Wade and, you know, what he's been doing since Deadpool 2. We saw that he changed time, and it wasn't what people were expecting. I like that, which was because he had the time dilating device or changing device from Cable, you know, the TVA must be after him. And that is really not the case in this, and which I thought was really surprising. Like, they're after him, but it's for a completely different reason. And I thought that was a really like unique take. But we also see that he just kind of has this normal life, and his normal life is like not that great in a way, or not seemingly as great as it could be. And he's lost Vanessa, but he still has all these friends and stuff. And I liked it because it kind of brought it back to like, okay, you know, who are the core people around Deadpool, minus like TJ Miller, which that was the only thing I would say at that party. It kind of felt like his presence was definitely like noticeably gone for me, but it makes sense why. I didn't know why. Do you know why he got canceled? I found out today.
I thought he didn't mesh well with Ryan Reynolds. Like, there was just things that went on like on set, and it was just like, I think that's a pretty common thing, like with TJ Miller, because even on Silicone, he kind of like was like a diva, I guess, or whatever. But I mean, he's funny and he kind of plays that crazy character. But apparently, he called in like a bomb threat to a train stop, and that's what got him. And he thought it was probably funny, right?
Maybe, yeah.
He's kind of a kooky dude. He's like really wacky out there.
So that got him.
That's not good, dude.
Everything. So that didn't land well for anybody. And so anyways, his president was missing, but the people that were there, you know, you have Colossus, you have a Negasonic Teenage Warhead, you have a Yukio, you have I love it. Like, everything with Yukio, it like just their relationship, Wade and her, is just so funny. I thought that was it's so good. But Scott, do you want to take it away more on the party?
Oh yeah, sure. The party. I love his relationship with what's her name? Blind Al? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Dude, their banter is so funny.
So
like
fucking hilarious.
I could I like if they released like Deadpool shorts and it was just like banter between them in the apartment or something, I would totally watch them all. That might have been my favorite part. I love seeing all the that and what's his name? Tim. Is his name Tim or
Paul or no Kyle?
Peter, sorry, Peter.
It's
a very like just whatever white guy name. Dang. Peter was just so funny, and like of course throughout the movie he's great, but like he just has this like aura about him in this movie where like when you see him you're like, hey, that guy, like you know,
and he's just like happy, funny, you know, and like it's just nice. He also for the Hall H Marvel panel, he moderated the whole panel, so he was like kind of making jokes with the cast too. And they're like, you know, we do have a Peter out. So anyways, that was really cool. But like, I love Peter, and obviously like he was in a comedy too that was like a UK based comedy on Amazon Prime. You can look it up. But so as soon as he makes that wish, we know that he very much wants Vanessa. It's like as soon as he blows out those candles, boom, knock, right? And goes out, and this TVA is very different in some ways than the TVA we saw in Loki. They're very more like militaristic in a sense, right? Like even their uniforms and everything were like more like bulletproof looking, have like more armor on it and stuff. And they come in hot, right? He obviously has the toupee stapled on his head, which
Which
is
was
just
so funny when they ripped that out.
wild. Yeah.
And then throughout the movie, he's like, "Oh yeah, I had a toupee." Like,
Yeah,
he
the
just
freaking
see this
staples with the
little-
patches of hair.
So funny.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but he gets pulled in. We see Matthew McFadden, who's playing Mr. Paradox. And yeah, what did you think about seeing him? And also did you watch Succession first? And then what did you think about seeing him at this part?
I saw the first season of Succession. This reminded me that I need to go back and finish it. I love that show. He's great in this role, I think. Like he's very similar to that guy. It was funny, like after the movie I was talking with
Tom
my sister.
Wamsgans.
How
Tom Wamsgans was his name in Succession. Got it.
That's a great name, by the way.
Yeah.
But I was talking to my sister afterwards, and I think the last movie she saw him in was like I think Pride and Prejudice or something. And it was like a very different kind of character. And she's like, "Wow, I didn't know he could like act like that." And I'm like, "Oh," like, and the last thing I saw was Succession. I'm like, "Oh, this is very much his style." I feel.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it was. I thought he crushed it as kind of a side character. Anytime he was on screen, like even though Ryan Reynolds kind of steals the show, like he kind of was like matching that same energy. Like I liked it.
Yeah, they had some good banter back and forth. Like I don't specifically remember any lines, but yeah, I don't know. What were your thoughts, Drake? I'm gonna see if I can find some. That's why.
I think initially when we meet him, I didn't really expect him to be a bad guy at first. I kind of was just like, oh, this is interesting. He's offering Ryan, or Deadpool, I should say, the opportunity, and that's kind of where the plot is going to kind of kick forward. And yes, it is, and it was a very pleasant surprise that he was kind of on the back end of like, oh, maybe this is the antagonist of the movie so far. His lines, his banter with Deadpool was pretty hilarious. I mean, obviously the back and forth in the beginning.
Yeah, I found one, which was like, "Mr. Wilson, you appear to have soiled yourself unconscious." He goes, "I wasn't unconscious." And he looks around, right? Just the most classic line from the trailer.
Yeah, well, just for that part, I thought it was pretty hilarious. I mean, towards the end, I think there's a lot of funny lines as well too, but none that stand out to me more than other lines that I can get into a little bit later.
Nice. Yep. So so this puts us on our path, right? He gets the new uniform and everything, and I like the gold features on all of it. I thought that was really, really cool. And then from there, he basically learns that because Logan, who was the anchor being, was that what he was calling it?
Oh yeah.
In that universe?
That sounds right. Definitely an anchor point, anchor being. Yeah, some of that.
Yeah, I think so, as anchor being. Because Logan, who was the anchor being in his universe, dies, basically that means that his whole universe is getting warped away. So Deadpool's solution basically is to find another universe with a Wolverine and pull him into his universe. And at this point, we start getting, I guess this isn't really cameos per se. This is just Hugh Jackman showing up as Logan. But we start seeing
before that though. I did like the dude in the cubicle who was like,
oh yeah.
That's great. And then as Deadpool's falling and his like butt's gonna fall, he's like kind of excited about it, but also like kind of afraid. Like these little things are so freaking great. Like just sprinkled out throughout the movie.
Because at first when he was like, "Oh, that guy's definitely checking me out too much," he just looked like a normal guy doing his job.
Yeah.
And then once Deadpool pointed that out, then he was like, "Yeah, I am checking you out." And then like progressively got like more and more that he wasn't trying to hide it. That shit was so funny.
So
HR.
Yeah.
HR.
Yeah, the slow motion just ass coming to his face.
Like
look at his lips. Yeah. But then now we start jumping into those universes, and we see this guy, very much Hugh Jackman, sitting at the bar. And we can only see it from Hugh Jackman's perspective, and then Wade in the background. And Wade's like, "Oh, whatever, Logan, come with me." And he jumps off the stool, and he's like 3 feet
like
tall.
Midget. Yeah.
And he's like,
"Hello,
comic
person."
book accurate.
Montage.
Yeah. And I was like, "Oh man!" And as soon as that happened, yes, Drake, to your point, like I was like, "Oh man, we're going there,
dude."
So then,
Apocalypse, fucking Wolverine, loved it.
Yeah.
It had the rock music playing, right?
Yeah,
like
that was sick.
That was great.
Yeah, I think that was from God, what issue was it? It was like X-Men something in like 1997 or something. I don't know, like 147 or something if I had to guess. But it's crazy because they just pulled that move in a sense in X-Men 97, and then we get like the actual cover, like that's pulled straight from, again, a comic book. I think it was like 1997 or 1998 or something, but yeah, with him on that X and just that world. But like seeing that comic come to life with all like the bloody skulls everywhere was like, oh,
what was cool though, that shot, it felt like it was almost a comic too, because like it didn't feel realistic. It felt like Zack Snyder's like Watchmen or something. Like it was like a moving comic book. I was like, this is pretty sick. Like
that was cool.
Yeah.
Then we get and I forget, it was like a Wolverine on a different timeline where he had his hand cut off, and basically it's like a metal I don't know if you guys saw this, but like it's just
that's an Apocalypse Wolverine.
Oh, is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He had like the teased hair and stuff.
There you go. Nice. Okay. When you said I was thinking of the the one where Wolverine's basically like looks like he's crucified on the X. That's
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
so that's where
as well, right?
Okay, my bad, Drake. You were like, that's not even the guy I was talking about. My bad, dude. But yes, okay. So there's that Wolverine. What other was there? Any other ones before we get to the most?
To that cameo one.
There
was one. No, wasn't there like at least there was a couple, right? I'd have to watch it again.
Patch.
Like this movie.
Patch.
Yes.
Yeah. He's wearing the white tuxedo and the patch, and then I did not expect him to just stab like the Deadpool in the head right there and slam him on the table. I was like, what?
That was gnarly.
Yeah. So that was crazy. The violence was not turned down by any means because this was the MCU or Disney, quote unquote. So that becomes very apparent in this movie right away. Especially again, Apocalypse Wolverine is just stabbing. He's getting slammed everywhere. He jumps into a world where there's a brown and gold suit, and the brown and gold suit Wolverine has somebody else that he seems to be fighting. And it is a very, very big, large green guy who subsequently then like pretty much kills Wade in a sense by slamming into a tree, which I thought that was such a sick cameo and paid homage to, the first appearance of Wolverine battling the Hulk. Like,
which is great because he addresses like, hey, isn't this when you fought the Hulk? And it's like the Hulk's behind it or something. Yeah, that was freaking awesome.
Did you love Cavalrine?
So yes, let's talk about it. Yeah, I think we're here. God, there were so many rumors about that, and I was like, "There's no way!" But it makes a ton of sense, right? Like this, but I'm wondering if this is like a John Krasinski thing or let's just talk about how you felt.
That's kind of what I was thinking,
and let's talk about what we thought now that we've had time to process it. Like for me, right when I saw it, I was like, oh shit, they're doing it. And now I can fully see Henry Cavill picking up the claws, after Hugh's completely done and moving forward in the new MCU. I was blown away and so pumped by that because he to me feels more comic accurate. Not that he has to be comic accurate because Hugh Jackman embodies everything that Wolverine is, but I think that Henry Cavill like looks like Wolverine off the page, and that was really fucking cool. So yeah, what were your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, similar. I was like, if anyone can look as close to Wolverine and Hugh Jackman, like Cavill looked at, and it was cool seeing him like. First, it's just like, dude, this is like a way buffer Hugh Jackman. That's what it looked like, right? Like, I'm like, this guy's big as shit. I wonder if he's just a CGI Hugh Jackman at first.
Right.
And then when he turns around, I'm like, no fucking way, that's Henry Cavill, Superman, man. Like, what the fuck? And then my thought, I didn't think about it. It'd be cool if they went that route, but I was just like, oh, this is probably like a Krasinski route. Like, this is a fun way to be like, the fans have been talking about it. Let's give it to them, but it's a nod. And dude, that was cool. And he's strong as fuck. Like when he hits him, I'm like, oh yeah. What did you think, Drake?
No, I thought Henry Cavill as Wolverine, when I first saw it, I was like, holy fuck, like that makes me think that the mantle can be continually held, that I don't need to worry whether or not it's Hugh Jackman or not. Like I was involved. I was like, oh my god, Henry Cavill, let's just make the switch. Let's make the switch already.
You instantly second the choice. You're like, okay, I buy that. Yeah, I'm cool. Because like people are like, there'll never be another Hugh Jackman, and it's like, that's true, but we're gonna need another Wolverine, and you got to pick the person carefully. God, I hope they pick Henry Cavill now because that would be incredible.
Yeah, and Henry is a jacked man, so
he is. He is. So he finally gets to a world where he seems to have picked like the most loser Wolverine in all the worlds, right? Very kind of reminiscent in some ways of like Everything Everywhere All at Once. And brings him back and has the costume on underneath the yellow and blue suit. And then the adventure really kicks off from there. It's a fun road trip movie. And I do see the comparison to Plane, Trains, and Automobiles. It's two people who one wants to love the other one wants to just push the other one away, and he wants to push the other one away because he's emotionally damaged. But along the way, all kind of madness and craziness happens, and this is very much the case, but in a Honda Odyssey. So that was like that was just great.
Shit, dude.
We get our first variant too of Deadpool, and we see like Canadian Deadpool. What was it?
What was his name? Like Handsome Pool or something like that? Like
It was-
Good
yeah,
Pool,
Curtis-
Good Pool, or
Good
some
pool
shit?
or something.
Good Pool,
Yeah,
yeah. And just like the super long, straight, flowing hair.
Yeah, dude, that dude is fucking legit.
No mask, not burnt. Like he's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like,
Nothing. Yeah.
well, I don't know why he's Deadpool. He just
Right.
is.
Yeah, exactly. I guess just maybe he still has the gift of the gab. I don't know.
Yeah.
But man, that was incredible. We see Dogpool right off the bat. A lot of funny jokes going in there with Dogpool. And they go on their trip. They drive out of the cornfield or whatever it is, and I don't know. Any thoughts like
just
in
think,
this portion?
No, the Honda Odyssey situation, like just like really shitting on the Honda Odyssey, set up for the following scene and made it way better. Ending with
Yeah.
one of my favorite lines in the movie, which was like the Honda Odyssey fucks. It's so fucking. Oh my god.
Yeah. And then of course, Dogpool was like, he's like the perfect mixture of like adorable and like hard to look at.
right.
He's just like, he's so goofy, derpy, and nice. You're like,
Yeah.
you can't not love him.
Just like
Yeah, this is
licking
Perfect.
his fucking
Like,
Ryan Reynolds'
showing
mouth
him
and shit.
lick from the side was just like, and he's just
Oh
like,
my God.
like opening his mouth. So great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that stuff was too good. That is just a perfect way to set up. Okay, there's variants in this world as well, and we should see some Deadpool variants, and it kind of
Right.
leads into what we'll see later on at the end of the movie. But we kind of get into the Badlands portion of it all, right? Or is this where they first? No, right when they land, don't they meet there and start fighting? I think we skipped like a whole.
Oh
portion.
yeah.
Yep. You see the
Sabretooth,
20th Century
Toad.
Fox.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
let's talk about the first fight between them. What were your thoughts? Because they did this cool thing of like letting them practically fight and really do their own fight choreography, mixed in with like some CGI moments and some
Oh,
wire
yeah.
work moments. Where I was like, God damn, they can make Deadpool look so acrobatic. He does this thing where he does like a breakdancing move where he goes to flip and like rolls off of his shoulder, bounces off the ground to kick again. And then there's a part where Wolverine charges at him and it goes into like a CGI moment, but like Hugh Jackman kind of becomes an animal, is like charging at him with the
Oh,
claws.
that was sick.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then
Dude,
uses
I
his
was-
claws in the ground to stop his momentum. Yeah.
Yeah.
that was-
Yeah, you know what was cool? Like, as soon as
Oof.
he got serious and he went down on all fours, I was like,
Yeah. I was like,
this
what the
is
fuck?
like he is like a Wolverine. Like, this is fucking cool. I've never
Yeah.
seen this in any of the movies, really. I feel like.
Seriously.
But yeah, that was very cool. And of course, we got to see some of the stuff that we saw in the trailer, like
Yeah.
him seeing the guns and then like reload. That's still very cool. The way he like loaded his guns up with the bullets and stuff.
Right.
And it was just so cool to see two people that can heal at such a fast rate, like just unload on each other to the point where they're like, "Stop! This is ridiculous!" Like, it was so cool, like, to see, of course, him get stabbed and then him
Yeah.
just like unloading bullets into him. Like, it's just like,
And Wolverine literally stab him up the a-hole. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that looks so painful. Yeah. I mean, and then having no bullets and then having to pull out the katanas. And then like some of the crap he was doing with the katanas was just like, what? I mean, it was just like the most imaginative like katana work ever.
oh
You
my
know,
god!
like-
And I love the I forget it's like mini or little. He's like little knife, bink. Like
Oh
every time
yeah, he
he
kept
says
saying
it,
that.
He
too.
says it. He introduces it.
Yeah, because he says it later on too, back in the van. He's
Yeah,
like little
little
knife, and just like, the jokes in here.
that
It was
was
just
so.
top notch. I guess that before we go on too much, I guess I'm wondering, was that at any point did it hinder you from from like enjoying the things or like feeling the stakes or whatever. Because I'd heard some people say like, yeah, it didn't really for me either. Because as Drake shakes his head, it's like I didn't really feel like it let anything like maybe a little bit towards the end, but other than that, I was like so happy with the mood of the whole movie.
Wait, how so? Like,
Yeah,
what are they? What kind
I
of
have
feelings were they
thoughts.
feeling?
Maybe we should wait till we get there.
Okay,
We'll get
okay.
there.
All
But
right,
kind of
all
towards
right.
the end, you know, as they're trying to fight for who gets to sacrifice themselves. But before we
Okay.
get there,
We'll get
remind
there.
me of it if I forget. But let's
Okay.
let's stay with this. They're stabbing each other, and then all of a sudden, like this rogue bandit of the void comes in,
Oh
and
yeah.
we also meet somebody. And yeah, I kind of wanted to split out cameos, but I think at this point you kind of have to talk about the cameo because this one
Yeah.
fully I was not expecting this at all. I had no
Yeah.
idea. This, you know how tied into like the rumor mill online I am, and I did not hear about this one at all. But
So funny though.
man,
So funny.
yeah, take it away, Drake.
So hilarious. Well, we get the envoy that comes after Deadpool has made the joke that it looks like a lot like Mad Max, and then
Yeah.
they all come through, and they're all on like weird ass vehicles that are leading up to things like the Fantastic Four hovercraft, etc., etc. And
Yes.
then we see,
Also, I'll just shout out the Red Skull's car from Captain America
oh
1,
yeah, yeah,
and there was something else. I think it was like a bunch of Hydra motorcycles tied together in the chariot looking thing.
oh yeah, which is like how the
Which is
fuck
very
do you
Mad
steer that
Max.
thing? Like,
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then you see kind of like Toad's tongue, and then you see kind of Pyro doing his pyrotechnics, and then all of a sudden you see, um, what is that called? Sabretooth,
Yep.
who we saw that in the commercials, and then all of a sudden you see this hooded figure come down from like a large tower, drops down, and then you kind of hear his voice, and then you can hear Deadpool go, "Oh my god." And he
Right.
recognizes it, so we're really anticipating. And he goes, "Oh my God, Cap!" And he's wearing blue, and we see it, and he pulls off his mask or his hood, and it's fucking Chris Evans, and we're like, "Oh my God, it's fucking Captain America!"
Dude, that I was like Captain America.
I know. I
What?
was like, whoa, he came
Yeah.
back for this? Like, this
And
is
then
crazy.
he's like, "Don't worry, guys, I got this." And then he goes, and then Ryan Reynolds was like, "Oh my God, he's gonna say it, Avengers Assemble!" And he goes, "Fucking flame on!" And then we're
I,
like, "What the fuck?"
I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
right. That's so cool.
I
Yeah.
couldn't believe
So
they did it.
hilarious, dude. So
Yeah.
hilarious.
So shout out to our friend James, San Diego Thor. He's like, it makes sense though if you think about it, because he's like, why would Cap be in the void? Like the Cap's not gonna get, there probably isn't a Cap out there who's not like the best version. You know what I mean? I'm sure there is. They have to do that because it's the multiverse. But I'm just saying, like, we're probably not gonna see that Cap. So of course, Human Torch makes
Right.
way more sense. And now it's like, oh, remember Human Torch is coming up, and it gave us like this tiny bit of teaser on like how cool those powers are gonna look on the big screen. You know, you're like, God, that's gonna look phenomenal. But there was
Yeah.
this little detail because I was getting the Cap vibe too. I don't know if it was in the score that was planning that idea in my mind, or if it was the suit looked blue. Then there was like these wraps on his hand that were white, but then there was also some red in there. So it's like from what I just saw there, I was like, oh, this is definitely Cap. So it's like I feel
Yeah.
like they really set it up good. So it made you think that was Cap, and then you get the flame on, and you're like,
Yeah, that was the perfect misdirect. Like that was great.
yeah. So they get captured. They take them over to Cassandra Nova's place. The whole Fox, as many Fox villains as they could have back, it seems like they got. The Juggernaut, unfortunately, seems like it was played by a different guy. It seems that probably makes sense because that guy's a lot older now and he's probably not as
Yeah.
buff.
Yeah.
We also I was bummed it wasn't Kelly Hu though for
Yeah, for
Lady
Deathstrike.
Deathstrike.
Right.
Yeah.
I think even sorry, I don't know if you just said it. Toad was that wasn't Ray Park, huh?
I think it was Ray
No.
Park.
Was it Ray Park? I
I'm
mean, he's older now,
pretty
so I wasn't sure.
I'm not
if
sure.
it was him or not.
You're right. It might not have been, but because I saw something recently from Ray Park. It might have been about Star Wars. I have no idea, but
Oh, okay.
my brain's all over the place. But I think I don't know. It could have been Ray Park. Either way,
Just because I know like the people
is
who
not Ray
like
Park.
definitely wore
No?
them, it felt
Okay.
like they showed them longer, like the Sabretooth and
right.
I mean besides Juggernaut, but I think because his helmet had a lot to do with it.
Mhm.
But yeah, for sure, Pyro and Sabretooth, they really like made sure they got screen time, and I'm like, okay, these are like the
Oh,
OGs.
interesting.
You
He
know?
has
Yeah.
a credit. he has the credit, but I don't think.
Oh, I mean, well, frick, maybe it was. I mean, he's also a stunt coordinator. Or he's just
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think he might have been in a few scenes, but I don't think he was doing all the action. Maybe I don't know, but
and
he
then
still got it.
reshoots. Maybe there's certain ones that are like that's definitely Ray Park, and then like they got a guy that looks like him.
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
I can see that.
Yeah, it looked like it, but we finally get our villain, Cassandra Nova. You know, the quote unquote twin of Professor Xavier. It's a lot more convoluted than that. She's like considered like a Mumadry, which is like everybody in the universe has their like opposite evil entity, or if you're evil in one universe, then it'd be good, I guess. But basically, yeah, to Charles. And yeah, I thought what's her name? Emma Corrin did a great job. She like
I think so too.
Pretty cool. And instantly, as they're captured and brought in, you know, Johnny Storm gets his whole skin peeled like a freaking rustic potato.
Yeah, that's
in an instant. That was nuts.
That was nuts. Yeah. That caught me off guard. There was a lot of like and like just surprising moments throughout this whole damn movie. I don't know how they kept everything's such a secret. It's like they purposely leaked things so that we wouldn't catch everything, you know? Like
yeah.
And
you know what's cool? Like I think the comedy is because it's so like it's like solid. It's like Ryan Reynolds Deadpool comedy. So for me, it hit throughout the movie. I don't think there was much that was like or any that was like okay, you know, like we've seen some other Marvel movies.
Right.
But because of that, I feel like they were allowed to do stuff like that might be seen as creepy in other movies, like if that happened in like the Doctor Strange movie, that'd probably feel really creepy. Again, different director, but I wasn't like scared. You know what I mean? Like when his skin got ripped off, I was just like, oh fuck, like oh he's dead. Like you know, I'm just like, but I'm
because he gets
lighthearted.
Two blinks
like
in. Because he gets like two blinks somehow.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're like, what the?
I mean,
it keeps it light.
They set the tone with that real early with the first fight scene, and like we're already so inept with like the boys and all this stuff, and to see it happen in this movie, I think it matches with the Deadpool tone, and also too because Chris Evans was really like, what's going on, this, that, and this. It was getting pimped really, really hard.
Yeah, he's being over the top a little.
Yeah, it kind of needed to happen so that over the top in order to kind of end that climax and be like, oh, cut back to all the characters and be like, whoa, what the fuck was that? And then we move forward with the scene. Like it was very good in my opinion.
And again, like I know it's a little out of order, but I love so much that like because Deadpool like is Deadpool, he could be telling the truth, he could be lying. When he's like, oh, you should have heard him. Said this, that, and it was very so specific. He's like, I don't even know what that means. And you're like, you're on his side. You're like, yeah, that's crazy. No one says that.
I think at one point he goes like, I'd rather lick your cinnamon hole or something or whatever. And like that line, I like, you know, like you ever go to Costco and you see those like flat bagels that were like toasted. They're like bagel chips and they were cinnamony. I don't know why. I was like trying to envision that in my head, or I don't know. It was just so damn specific.
Yeah.
And you're like, only Deadpool could make that up.
Right. Well, you think.
You think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But God, okay, yeah. So that happened. Somehow they escape and continue on the journey. They run back, you know, out, they try to kill each other. The van again holds down the fort, becomes like this insane battle in a van,
which is super reminiscent of like they have like car jiu-jitsu where you have to like
that's where my mind went when he was like buckled in. He's like,
dude, it was so fucking hilarious. And I was like going out through the whole thing, how they were stabbing each other and stuff like that. We you know, knowing that they have regenerative powers, and as it was going on and it was getting kind of more insane and they were doing all these things, it kind of, as it cuts to the car panning into, and then previous to that, where one of the favorite lines is you know, the Honda Odyssey fucks because they were able to fight in it, etc. And it made sense that that's where they were getting out all their aggression. They were kind of able to pivot their relationship and meet each other because Wolverine was able to call out all of Deadpool's bullshit that we see, that we know, but that maybe Deadpool hasn't realized for himself yet. And that we Deadpool, after calling out all of Wolverine's bullshit or earlier, or you know, why aren't you helping, blah 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 blah, you're the hero, etc. And so they get to meet, battle, and then they get Deadpool's mummified in the seatbelts, and then
that was so funny. They're both dead, but somehow like somehow Deadpool got some last shot in for for Wolverine to be like that while Deadpool's like wrapped up. So
Oh,
like, how did that
yeah.
happen? You know?
Yeah.
That's fucking great though.
And then they get somebody jumps in the car because they pan out. The Hot Odyssey is still a good. So I mean, I think that's
I
gonna be
mean,
a
it was
Should be a lot of sales in
drivable.
this Honda.
yeah, it's
Odyssey.
drivable supposedly. Sales are
Yeah.
gonna go up for the Honda Odyssey, and then
Yeah.
For sure.
you know the van drives off, and then all of a sudden cuts to the scene where Deadpool's waking up and Wolverine's kind of by the window, kind of pensive, and then we get a bunch of just shit I did not expect, but I loved every second of it.
Yes. And
What-
again, we're
what
gonna
is
jump
it?
back into the
Yeah,
cameos here.
I forget.
This
but,
reminded me of, and I might be mistaken, but it reminded me just because of I never played the game, but it seemed like how it was pitched. Was this kind of like a Midnight Suns kind of vibe? Is that
It
what
did
was
kind of feel that way a little bit.
oh,
Or not
like
really?
because now we're talking about like the cameo part.
Yeah, the camera part,
Yeah.
because that's what they wake up to,
yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
they wake up to Electra first,
Yeah,
right?
Jennifer Garner, OG Jennifer Garner,
Garner.
Electra, OG Blade, Wesley Snipes, or
Oh yeah,
original
they
Channing
go.
Tatum, Gambit. Yeah,
Okay, yes. All right, let's talk about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because this is the cameo part.
Let's
Yeah.
set it up. Yeah.
They like walk down into that whatever, like the base and whatever, and like this is we knew Daphne Keene was coming because they were showing her all over the place. I wish they
Yeah.
didn't online, and that was kind of crazy. But shout out to Daphne Keene. She's having like a massive month between
is.
the Acolyte and this, so good for
Yeah.
her. But yes, dude, Elektra walking in, that was a shocker. It shouldn't happen because I kind of knew she was in it, but I was like, okay, this is where we got Elektra. But it was so cool to see it. And then the next cameo was the shocker, which was Wesley Snipes, because
yeah, dude.
it's pretty well known Ryan Reynolds and Wesley Snipes did not get along on the set of Blade. Like Ryan Reynolds has said like I hated like working with Wesley Snipes. So to get him in the movie was like, wow, they really have squashed the beef, and
Yeah.
it's come full circle. But Wesley Snipes is Blade, man. Like that's that was
He's Blade.
insane.
I know that's pretty crazy. And then the thing too, like I was watching this thing and they're like, it was because of Ryan Reynolds. Like Ryan Reynolds' character in Blade 3 was when they're like, oh, maybe he could do a Deadpool later. So it's like it is crazy how it came full circle. And
Yeah.
at the time, Wesley Snipes was the man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They mentioned it too, like the line dialogue between them.
mhm.
There was kind of like a subtle
There was something.
take at that. There was something at that, a little bit of
Yeah.
tension. Even more
Yeah.
so when like Shining Tatum came in and that one line that Deadpool kind of delivered, which was is your voice coach a minion?
Oh, yeah, he's
What?
who's your dialect coach?
Yeah,
he's like
is your
you-
dialect coach a
it's-
minion?
He's your dialect coach a minion.
But
Because that was funny too when he first came in, right? I was like, first I was like, he automatically looks funny, and then I didn't
Yeah,
even
he
think
does.
about they're probably leaning into like they're not gonna make him look cool probably because they're probably gonna like lean into him being goofy, make sure he sounds worse than he probably would have. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if he can do an accent. So when he first came, I'm
Right.
like, dude, this is the worst fucking accent I've
No,
ever heard.
I know. Well, like
It's
Channing
so
Tatum.
funny, dude.
How many people think of Channing Tatum now as like a serious actor? Like he plays comedies, you
He
know?
plays comedy
Yeah,
now, yeah.
that's
But
true,
that's
he
true.
definitely like as the words started getting way crazier, and he's like,
Dude,
bruh,
yeah.
like he's not even saying sentences. I feel
No,
like.
yeah.
I was like, okay, never mind. He's like fully like he knows what he's doing here. Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
great.
It's so
Oh,
fucking
that boy
hilarious.
by the gumbo and the Bible Debo.
And then he-
We're like, oh
And
my
we're like,
god, dude.
Sometimes he
fucking
just
Channing
dropped the
Tatum.
accent altogether.
Dude,
and
that
like, this is
Cajun
freaking
accent
great,
was
dude.
so hilarious.
Yeah,
so
it would like mix it and be like, that's on track to like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
That's nothing, you know. Like
The
that's-
fucking costume was real on point though. Like the
costume
real on
was
point.
sick,
Super
and they
on
end up
point.
doing some stuff with him in the fight. You're like, they even found a way.
Yeah.
And like Channing Tatum is not, to me, doesn't look like a light guy. You know, like Ryan Reynolds looks like he could maybe
Right.
get a flip in, right? But like, no way you can get Channing Tatum to do a flip. But he was so acrobatic in that fight later on. You're like, wow, and like him charging up the cars and throwing at the bottle. Like it's also pretty well known in the industry how long Channing Tatum wanted to make a Gambit movie. He had been pitching for it. He pitched so many times. He had been trying to get it made for a decade, and it was never going to happen. So it's like talk about wish fulfillment all around. You know, like bringing Jennifer Garner back. Getting Wesley Snipes back one more time as Blade, and then Channing Tatum finally getting to fulfill his dream of playing Gambit on the big screen. That was incredible. And then Daphne Keene of it all. Like, are we ever going to get Logan and X-23 back together, and God, that relationship between them still works. It still is heavy.
Whoever was talking about like, oh, like some of these things, these quips, these funny one-offs that kind of took away from the drama of the show, like, what are you talking about? Like, because the relationship with Daphne Key or X-23 and Logan, when there's they're having that kind of moment to moment by the fire, etc. Like that was, if you're looking at it as a whole, that's way different than how the movie had been going so far, right? Or even these serious conversations that lead into these action scenes. There's all of that stuff. You can't say that everything doesn't balance each other out, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree with you. And very much in this moment, there is that balance. And Logan, Hugh Jackman just gets to really act his ass off and get serious and get emotional and stuff. And you're like, I mean, that is one thing I'm kind of still confused about. Like, how did he let down his X-Men? Like, just because he wasn't there that one night, and then they killed, like, these humans came in and killed them? Was that what he was just saying?
Like, so
that
like,
might be one of the only.
And Jean Grey and the Beast and I like. What do you mean?
Yeah,
like,
it makes me think like, I mean, you might have just died too, but maybe that's like survivor's guilt. Like he's like, I should have died with them. That might have been it.
Yeah, I could see that. But you're right. That this part is very emotional. It's very like, man, they're doing the work. They're doing some acting here, right? And that was great. They decided they're gonna go in and have this battle and basically try to take out Cassandra Nova, so that she doesn't wipe out the universe. Is that what it is?
I think she wants everything.
You guys,
she wants everything to be brought into that universe and then
in the void.
Oh no, I thought she wanted all universes to be unexistent until just the void. Only the void is left.
Oh right, that seems like it makes sense.
Right, that's the same thing, right? They end up. Point is, everything needs to be in the void at the end. However she fucking does it, okay?
She's trying to just void.
She's trying to void everything and then control. Real quick, it was funny too to hear like, it's funny, like I didn't remember this line as much as John, our friend John, remembers it. He quote this all the time. He's like, some motherfuckers always
trying to skate uphill.
These hill. Yeah, and like he'd always say it, and then it was funny. Like when he said it in the movie, I was like, I didn't. No one else was laughing, but I started laughing real loud because I'm like, dude, John's gonna love this line. Like, he's always saying this line. It's great.
I definitely laughed at it too because I knew how big of a line it was from Blade. Man, that was great. That was so good. But the action starts kicking off, and it's like an all-out battle. It's everybody's powers. It's I mean, Elektra was doing Elektra things. Blade actually got to have his like. With the twin blades, is that what you said?
Yeah, he used all of his weapons that he used previously, except for his like main blade. Also, when they were driving in, right, and then he used that bazooka to open up the hands of large Ant-Man, and then he's like, "There's only ever gonna be one blade," and then it cuts to Deadpool looking over at the camera.
That was great.
Like,
that was so great. Like these meta jokes, man. That was so just good. Like, oh man, we know. You see, that's how you do like fourth wall breaking done right, where it's like the audience clearly knows, and like they should be in on the joke, and we're in on that joke. So that was so good. This action goes off, and like they're killing everybody. Like even Gambit's killing fools. Like he's charging cards and blowing dudes up. He's charging the bow staff and blowing dudes up. Like like. It made me think like Gambit in real life would be murdering people. Like fully.
Did he charge someone's torso?
Yeah, he just stuck his staff in somebody's chest, and then he's like walked away all cool, and he fucking exploded.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's how I did. Okay, I thought he like touched him. I was like, I thought he can do it only in inanimate objects or something.
Right, but I mean, if he goes from bow staff to shirt, that's inanimate.
Then that works.
Yeah.
So just turning everything you wear into a grenade, like damn, dude, like what the frick?
But that is what is so cool.
Yeah,
really cool about Gambit is like he is turning everything into a weapon, but like the weapon he chooses is a deck of cards. Like that's pretty badass. It's just cool.
Yeah, can you imagine if he made like paper airplanes instead or something? He's like, oh, you fucking. He's just making.
Yeah, I think he would not be as cool or as popular as he is today. So
he throws origami cranes.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. In a different alternate universe,
I want that
origami
like for a second.
Gambit. Yeah. So they put together this master plan. They're trying to take down. Someone take over.
They tried to take down bald hot lady, but in the comic books looks a lot older. and we find out that essentially she can't send them back, right? But then she can send them back with the magic rings of what is this?
Yeah,
name?
Doctor Strange. Yeah.
And then there's a cute little quip that Deadpool says, and then she opens it up, and she's like, "Well, you have about 4 seconds before fucking Alliance comes." And so cut to all of the people like trying to make it happen, right? Elektra's looking up and Blade's looking up, and they're jumping through, and it's a slow-mo. Are they gonna make it? Alliance comes through, and obviously they fucking make it. And they get to the spot where kind of everything's taking place, and then maybe I'm confusing it, because is this where all the other pools come in?
Yeah. So this is where Paradox has the Time Ripper, right? And it's supposed to like pull this or like destroy this reality or whatever,
speed up
right?
the process.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, I'm wiping out that timeline. So because of what Deadpool has been doing and everything, and coming back, the Deadpool Society, or if that's what they're called, I forgot what it's called.
That sounds right. I kind of forget, but I think that sounds right.
Yeah, they all come in.
All the Deadpool variants.
Yeah, pretty much. No,
Deadpool Corpse.
Deadpool Corp. That's what it is. Yeah. It was cool. We get all these sick Deadpools. There's a cowboy one. We get a zombie head, basically. We get
Deadpool. You get Lady Deadpool, who is
speaking of cameos.
Yeah.
That was funny too,
Lively.
And then in the what was it, like leading up to the movie, he state like on Twitter, he's like, Blake Lively is not female Deadpool or something like that, but it's like she clearly was. It's just it's so funny. You might as well just say she was. Like, it's funny, but it's very Ryan Reynolds.
Her voice, like her voice. When she said something, I was like, "Oh, that's Blake Lively."
Yeah, and then the Western one was oh sorry.
No, you know what? The actual actress in the suit was not Blake Lively. The only thing
did just the voice.
It was only the voice. So technically, he wasn't lying.
I like it. That's even better.
Because she was pregnant because they just had a son. So she actually wasn't in the suit. So he didn't lie. Technically,
I bet if she wasn't pregnant though, she probably would have been in that suit.
Yeah.
And the what is it?
Cowboy,
you said, like the Western Cowboy. It was Matthew McConaughey, right, or something?
Oh, what?
I believe.
No way. Matthew McConaughey. If you said Matt Damon, I would believe Matt Damon.
No.
Matt Damon's the king of cameos.
Oh, it's voiced by Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
What? I did not know that. That's wild.
Crazy.
And then you also had like Kid Pool, and then there's that Wrexham Deadpool.
There you go.
Pretty hilarious.
Okay, I was like, Drake, when that one pops up, you're gonna love it.
There was Dance Pool, who was Nick Pauli.
Okay.
I think he is a dancer, and then Rob Delaney obviously was Peter Pool towards the end.
Right. Peter.
That was so, dude. His freaking belly button popping out of that suit. He's so funny, dude.
And before that too was even more hilarious because Nice Pool, right, the one with the flowing hair and the gold guns. Him having that conversation with fucking Deadpool and all that stuff, and how he was like, I can also break the fourth wall too, and then he looks over and he goes, the proposal, and then you think he's gonna say more shit, and he just fucking does. He just turns back around. It's so fucking funny, dude. Oh my god,
dude. That was so good.
The Proposal, because I like that show. I watched that movie like 3 times in a month.
That movie's good.
Yeah, it's a great movie. One of the best rom-coms ever. I mentioned it recently, and someone's like, "That's a great movie." I'm like, "Yeah,
I think we watched it this year for the first time for Christine.
I'd
really? Seen it, and she's like, "Oh, I've never seen it." I'm like, "Oh, it's a good movie. I think you'd like it." We watched it. Yeah, it was good. It's a good time.
It is. It's cute.
Shit, man.
But and then he uses like Nice Pool as a human shield. Completely gets destroyed. Yeah,
ridiculous.
Oh man,
which
regenerate. So fucking funny, dude.
Oh man, that was just too good. They get blasted in like Liefeld's feet too, which Rob Liefeld, notorious comic book artist who helped create Deadpool, like could never really draw feet. That was hilarious. But then like all of a sudden there's this all-out battle, right? And we finally get the moment. Like I was like, when the hell are we gonna get Wolverine the Mask? Because like they're selling it to us like we're getting Wolverine the Mask. When is this happening? And at this moment they Hugh reaches back to his hood or his collar and pulls the mask up, and I'm like, what?
That was
Sick.
dude. It's so cool with the white eyes. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks
oh
cell
my
shaded too. The
gosh.
way it was painted.
Yeah.
That's so good, dude.
Yeah, it
and
was
then he
cool.
gets down again, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
Yeah,
here we go.
I
dude.
like it because there was also like this joke of like kind of like Batman's wings, except for he can move his neck. I was like, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's
dang,
so
another meta
funny.
joke in there. But yeah. Then they just go to town, and it's just an all-out just murder. But I was also thinking, as they were killing them, I'm like, aren't they all just gonna come alive? Which is very much what happens, but it still doesn't make the scene any less badass. They
Yeah.
definitely like start murdering
It was
everybody.
just funny, sorry,
Yeah.
real quickly, you mentioned Batman. Like, it's so funny that like I guess only Deadpool could do that. Like, you don't know if is DC just entertainment in their world? Like, it's just DC
I think so.
Comics.
Yeah, because remember in the
Until
Eternals,
they eventually do. So it'd be interesting if they ever
Mm.
do that crossover,
The amalgam.
and then
Yeah.
they make Deadpool beat us. Like, oh, they're real, like, or something,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
Batman, like, it'd be
Oh,
freaking
that would
great,
I see just
Like-
yeah. They could do
Yeah.
that like a different universe because this still seems like it's in a different universe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I mean,
anyways, yeah,
Different
so that was just, like,
timeline,
really
I guess.
just
Different
quick, like,
timeline.
Yeah.
different timeline, right.
Yeah.
So yeah, all out battle was really
Mhm.
freaking sick. They go down into, they have to stop Mr. Paradox because why can I never remember her name?
Yeah.
Sandra
what's her-
Nova.
sh- Yeah.
Yeah.
She's now taking over the machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because she
Yeah.
like hand fucked Mr. Paradox, and now she's.
By the way, very cool way to do it,
Yeah.
like visually on screen, like
Yeah.
just flowing through like the head and stuff, like
Yeah, which
it's
is real
eerie and like
gross, yeah.
very cool.
Yeah, it
way to do
was like kind of
Um,
popping out of his eye thing. I was like,
Yeah.
nah, bro.
Yeah. real
That was not didn't make me feel good. But this is the I think the part where I could kind of see like there's this very emotional part, and then there's
Okay.
like these jokes, like where Deadpool, they kind of swap places. Hugh just is like, I'm gonna go, like I have nothing to live for, you have things to live for, and he's gonna walk in, and at the last second, Deadpool changes and then starts making jokes. That was like the one scene I could kind of agree with people where I was like, maybe he didn't have to make so many jokes there, but I still loved it.
What was his jokes?
He was like kept going, and then he was like Supermaning through the
Oh,
window,
yeah,
and then he was like
yeah,
walking
that's
down
funny.
the stairs.
I thought that was really funny.
I still thought it was funny. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but
I think I chalk it up to just like people who sometimes make a lot of jokes in real life, like in an uncomfortable circumstance. He's like,
Right.
he's gonna make jokes.
Yeah, but I was
And he
also
might
like,
be
we don't
like,
have time
I'm
for
gonna-
this.
Yeah, but he's also like, well, I'm gonna die, so this is
Yeah.
cool. Like, this is a perfect opportunity, and he's like going down.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's what made it funnier for me, at least, where it's like, okay, well, that's got to be the last one because he's got to go over there,
Yeah.
and then he does
Mm.
another. I'm like, you fucking dude, just go, dude.
It
Like-
makes sense. It makes sense because we feel as if Deadpool. Oh, he's making this commitment, right? Wolverine already was gonna go, and so he's like, oh, He ended up switching with him last minute, so we're like, oh, he's doing what he would do as his natural defense in order to kind of admit to himself that he's willing to do this now. And so we fully believe that that was gonna happen, right? Until we start seeing him pull out the negative time and the positive time, and he can't really reach it, and they're like, oh my god, he's not gonna make it. And then we kind of figure out, oh well, there has to be a way for this to work that way, and it ends up working out that way when Wolverine comes in, grabs his hand like we know, and then all of a sudden Madonna starts playing because he stabbed the fucking other portion in, and then all of his clothes rip off, and then his abs are
is
showing.
Super cool.
And then
Yeah.
Deadpool like looks over and he's like,
that,
Oh,
look
yeah.
at that part. That part cracked me
So
up.
fucking
Just like, he
funny,
didn't- yeah, it's still getting that moment in there about to die, and he's just like checking him out. Oh man, that
Yes,
was
that's great.
so good.
A very Guardians feeling too, like the
Yeah,
together they can.
yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. I liked.
You're right. That was like Guardians 1. Yeah, that was great. How did you? Yeah, I mean, Hugh, like he's 50, dude's about to be 60 soon. Like what? Why does he look so buff and ripped still? Like, God, that was crazy.
Well, that's the thing. I assume that could be really good CG too, like
Yeah.
helping.
for sure.
you
Because
think?
I saw this thing like I forget what it was, but it was like this little like TikTok whatever, and someone's like, dude, they CG'd Hugh's arms, like some of the torn
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
It's like they CG like these muscle arms. They did it really well, but I guess some of the early footage maybe was more noticeable. Like in the movie, I couldn't really tell. Like,
No, me neither.
but
I didn't even know they did that.
I think too that must have been Hugh over the years had talked about how like the hardest part is
keeping up the
keeping up that body. Like he's got to like dehydrate himself, all that stuff, and like and he's getting older now. Even Henry Cavill was saying like, dude, the two hardest parts in Superman, the hardest thing for that role was the 2 scenes that I had my shirt off. Like other than that, Superman was easy. That muscle suit he's wearing, the yellow one, is like proper muscle suit. It makes him look like great. So that was probably a caveat. Plus we got the yellow suit, so it's like a win-win. I feel like
so true.
Yeah.
But we get some. They end up saving the day, and we see Hunter B-15 come in from Loki, kind of tying it all together. I like the idea too that there was a rogue agent. Yeah. So I thought that was all cool. All's well that ends well. They get back to their timeline, and Wolverine subsequently comes back to their world, or his world, with him, and has a place. And it was just nice, and it was Daphne Keane was there too at the last dinner party, right?
Yep, Daphne Keane was there. Everybody from the original party was there, except for, I thought Shatterstar died in the.
No, he reverses time in Deadpool 2.
Oh yes.
Remember, it saves him and saves Peter.
That's so funny.
Yeah, he saves him and Peter. So that, and then Shatterstar, if you go on our social media, that's the guy that I got to take a picture with. He was super cool. Yeah, Louis Tan, too, super nice.
He was like in Mortal Kombat and like Iron Fist and stuff.
Yeah, and like incredibly handsome. And
you touched his abs?
I wanted to.
Or his ass?
But it didn't. But that too.
One of the days.
Didn't get to.
Oh,
one of the days.
Like, can I?
One of the things that I wanted to that we forgot about,
dude. Okay, real quick.
Sorry,
his putting on the suit and the smacking of the butt. Like,
yeah.
And then the crotch.
Your Taylor's a pedophile.
yeah, exactly.
Or Taylor's a predator, is what he's
predator.
Yeah. Sorry,
so fucking funny. I love how they just kept going back to the fucking dick tap and the butt squeeze. But there was a part where Mr. Paradox was showed something to Deadpool, and he was like, "Why is Thor holding me?"
Yeah, and he's like, "Whoa, you're not supposed to see that."
You're not supposed to see that. Blah blah blah. So interesting, because it is a meta thing. Are we going to see that further on down the line, or is that just something within another timeline, etc.? So
that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking in Secret Wars, maybe that happens and he dies, or it's gonna lead up to that moment, and he's at least gonna be like, "This is that thing I saw."
Oh, that'd be
on
fucking
the TV.
Hilarious.
Like he's gonna address it. This would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. I think it was. Yeah, it's definitely something they planned for the future. A bunch of things they planned for the future, actually. But it's that. Obviously, Henry Cavill, I think they can move forward with him if he wants to do Wolverine. Let's cross our fingers.
No, I just said please.
Oh, please. Oh, my bad. There's that. There's what else were we just talking about? Yeah, Deadpool dying, basically. I think that can definitely be something that gets put into Secret Wars. Do these characters carry over to our timeline? Because it still seems like they're still on their own timeline or whatever, right? Or own world.
I think it can, just because from what there was a line that was meant to be quippy, but it was like, "Welcome to the MCU. You're joining at a little bit of a low point."
That was such a good line.
That was funny, yeah.
And I think that little meta joke, which is the reality of the situation, right? Or at least what everybody else thought.
I'm Marvel Jesus.
Yeah, I'm Marvel Jesus, or MJ if you're nasty. And this is kind of the turning point, right? Like, I view this movie as like a pivot towards everything we're going to be seeing. Can these characters work? We know they definitely can, because not only has we been able to reverse timelines or go to different worlds, but the news that came out over SDCC over a certain individual who played a character who is now going to reprise a role as a different character, right? We now know that can take place. And did I say that in a fucking weird way that was grammatically incorrect?
I'm not sure, but
I don't know. My brain has two brain cells left.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Dang. So, I mean, we can definitely get there, right? And I think the idea of Deadpool, how he sets up the meta, how he's like opening the door in terms of the comedy, knowing that Disney wasn't doing well, knowing that they now absorbed Fox, and we get to see all that B-roll at the end of the film as well too, right? We got to see
That was great. I like
That
that.
was
Chris
cool.
Evans be a super fucking Boston-y, and we get to finally close that chapter on like, you know, why he got to die. So they addressed everything they needed to address. And
Mhm.
moving forward for the next movie, I think next year is going to be what is that called? Captain America: Brave New World.
Mhm.
Now we're gonna get that serious take of like the political world, and then Thunderbolts is gonna come out, then Fantastic Four is gonna come out, then Blade's gonna come out. Then we're gonna have the Avengers movies that we've been looking forward to, and this is I think the beginning of the wave that we're gonna be surfing until the crescendo's on to, you know, the
Silver
biggest
Surfer.
wave that Marvel has to offer so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming at some point like Deadpool's gonna live in his timeline, and then their TVA is actually gonna be like, in all seriousness though, we do need you in this other timeline for this event. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
all right, it's like it's my time.
Yeah.
Probably makes
yeah.
him like, I haven't been packed or some kind of thing. They might even just kidnap him, take him again or something. But
Because
yeah.
you can make the argument that Deadpool can save anything. Deadpool can save anything because he's an already established character that we know that can break the fourth wall. He can be he can do parody of everything that's there. He doesn't have to stick within the IP because he can make it what we are thinking as the fans, and you know, not only bring funny but then bring a realness to it as well too, as you've seen through you know, Deadpool and Wolverine. So I think he can be a catalyst for a lot of different things, or revamping of things, or making better of things, etc.
Yeah, I can't say it any better myself. I think that's a perfect way to say what he can do and how he could possibly be used in the future if Ryan Reynolds wants to come back. So yeah, well said, man. Yeah, so I don't know, anything else that you guys want to drop on this one? I think we've kind of touched on the most of the movie. But I want to touch on it more. But like I think that this was a pretty good recap of everything, and
Yeah.
you know, we kind of had our predictions right there. So any other lines you guys want to shout out and anything before we wrap this up?
Yeah, there was one other thing. I don't remember if we like went into detail, but it was when you see Sabretooth and he's like, "Oh my god, this is it. Like the showdown. This is what everyone wants to see. Like you got this,
Yeah.
man. Like stay for or whatever it was. This hype." And then it's very samurai-esque. Like, oh, I just hit my mic. Sorry, Tom. You hear that? But that's the noise.
Sorry,
he made.
audience.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. But just like the crossing and then Sabretooth's head falling off, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. It felt I saw this in a video and I was like, oh, very much so. Like Harrison Ford, where he's like about to have that big battle, he just pulls out his gun and shoots the guy
Right.
when the guy wants to sword fight. Like it felt very much like that. Like you think it's like, oh, here we go. This fight is like this fight that's been going through forever, and then he just
Right.
ends it real quick. Like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. They give you a little bit what they want, but they're like, we got to keep the story moving.
Right.
So,
yeah,
the
and
pace
that's
was really nice in this film.
the pace
Yeah.
is awesome.
Yeah.
It really does keep moving, and it keeps you on to the next thing and the next thing, and it's just a great ride the whole time. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. I think that is definitely a plus of this movie. The pacing is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was all great. There were some beautiful shots. I think Sean Levy had an incredible job trying to bring all of this cast and these wide range of actors and all these different personalities together and do it in a satisfying way. And I think he really did. You know, I'm obviously super happy that the Russo brothers are back for Avengers 5 and 6, but I think he would have done a pretty decent job, possibly. You know, maybe it would have been a little too funny or something, but, you know, I think it could have worked. But yeah. Wade, he gets to talk to the girl at the end, and you know, we get through all the credits again, and at the end we get the scene we had talked about before, where he's basically spilling all of these things that the Human Torch said to Cassandra Nova, but we actually get to see the tape. Like, you guys thought I was just being a dick to sacrifice him.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's Chris Evans doing the whole monologue, which is just
Yeah.
like
So hilarious.
Like Drake was saying, like in his
Funny.
Bostonian accent, and it's
Yeah.
like all the weird stuff. He's like, I don't even know what that means, and then he's like clearly saying everything, and it's like, yep, like he.
Yeah.
Tell me how you feel about her, and then he just like unloads. Like it's so funny, and it was a cool way
good.
to be like a nod off to Chris Evans as well. Like he does mean a lot to the Marvel universe, and if this is the last time we see him, whatever, like it was cool. We got him in this way, and then we end with him again. Like
Yeah.
in a
Chris
really
Evans will be
funny,
back.
different way. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he's
hope
got-
so.
yeah, dude.
He's
great.
going to be back as Cap. There's no way. Like if you get RDJ back, it's only a matter of time before you get.
We
Chris
need
Evans.
America's ass. So
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I mean, 2 Caps on screen, and even if he comes back like the comics, like old man Cap with Sam Wilson's Cap, that'll still work. But I could see that happen. I mean, Cap didn't die. He went to the moon for all we know. He went back in his time, so
that's very true.
we're gonna get him.
And
Yeah.
Sorry, real quick, and like you were saying, like the recap at the end of like all the just the kind of behind the scenes of all the good moments that they had in all the Fox franchises that we got, throughout the years. That felt really cool. Like speaking of nostalgia, like it was like, oh man, like I had a good time with these movies, and it's like, we're there, we're not gonna forget them, but it was good. It was like a nice nod to them. Moving on, but yeah.
One of the movie going experiences I remember the most in my life was my birthday, taking everybody to X-Men. You know what I mean? I'll never.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet money that the Juggernaut would not say I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, why would I lie to you? And I'm like, dude, that you wouldn't say that. I don't know why you're saying it. Like, because it was coming right off of that thing on YouTube. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
Right.
What do you fucking? He said, I'm like, you did? What the fuck? Like, there's no way.
I mean, that joke right there paved the path so Ryan Reynolds could pull internet jokes off and just throw them in this movie. The only thing too is like we didn't get Taylor Swift. The internet was so convinced we got Taylor Swift. I am also convinced that she did film something, but it wasn't put in the movie because he had people come in to film scenes and it was not used in the movie.
Yeah, speaking of Rob McInerney, right?
So he apparently did play a TVA agent. But
I thought there was a picture of him, like he was like a variant of
like
Wolverine.
a character. Yeah, maybe
Like,
you're right
like,
too.
He's like, I flew 2,000 miles, and he's like, I know my boy didn't leave me out of this film. He's like, I'm gonna go back and watch it again tonight, or something like
funny.
that. Like, yeah, it's
yeah.
funny.
But I saw he was in a TVA suit too. But
That's cool.
Ryan Reynolds, man, you want to be his friend. And Hugh Jackman. The marketing, everything around this movie has been incredible. This is, they call it like a monoculture, right? Where like there's something that happens in culture and everybody knows about it, at least, as far as America goes or whatever, right? And this was definitely one of those things. It feels like a monoculture. Like everybody who still said like, I stopped watching Marvel after Endgame, whatever, has told me they're going to watch this movie. And so I think they killed it. I don't, I wasn't, it didn't get everything I was expecting, but it still met all of my expectations, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about earlier or like in episodes past, like, oh, do we think that this movie is going to make $1 billion?
I was just going to ask that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, good call. I do. I was so wrong. If I said it wasn't going to make $1 billion, I'm an idiot because I think
doesn't it already reach like almost halfway?
Yeah,
like in this weekend, like 400 something.
438 million was the total I saw this morning. Yeah. So it probably made 500 million as we're talking about it right now.
I mean, globally, it's probably going to make a shit ton of money as well, too. Like, there's no way it doesn't make a bill.
And people are rewatching it. Like, this definitely had that rewatchability factor to it.
Yeah.
So
you can't catch everything. You can't catch all the jokes. You can't see every detail of the fight. Like, you can't catch it all. And so this has to be, one of those movies you rewatch. So, man.
That's cool.
Never bet against Ryan Reynolds.
I know, right?
Yeah, never bet against Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. You will be wrong. So, anyways, all right, guys. Well, that's it for tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed this bonus episode. Tell us what you thought about Deadpool and Wolverine. Are you going to watch it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times? I don't know how many times, but you should go watch it. It is incredible. It has been a wild weekend. My brain is barely functioning. Let's get out of here. And mahalo for sticking with us.
The Joystick Show.